Hi, guys. This is Javon checking in with you on Facebook and YouTube, and I would love to talk about the topic of exceptionalism versus playing to the lowest common denominator. So, I'm going to try and do this as quickly as possible. Cultural exceptionalism, meaning that you set high standards for someone, or someone sets high standards for themselves. And when that person, relative to the rest of their peers, comparatively stands out, great for that person. Absolutely great for that person. I applaud anybody that overcomes barriers and obstacles and challenges. And I believe that there is a spiritual reward inside that we all know that we can feel when we work at the maximum that we can in order to achieve a goal, and we absolutely crush that thing, and we end up on the other side as the victor. And this is competing against no one else. This is competing against yourself. Now, I'm saying comparatively, you have a comparative stance that is relatively better as far as an outcome based on those goals. I think that is a wonderful, wonderful way and life lesson for people to learn how to push in order to get what it is that not their fickle animalistic needs desire, but what their soul desires as far as being able to be able to interact in this world with confidence. When you play to the lowest common denominator in situations like when you see a mass shooter shoot up a school, or when you see as an Islamic extremist go out of their way to blow up or kill someone, these rogue idiots or fools who do things that are wrong, and many other things that you see that go wrong in society, those things have to selectively be treated as such and as according to the level of depravity and insanity that these people carry out. But that doesn't mean that I believe that the rest of us should share in the punishment. Like when I'm sorry, I have to do this because unfortunately it's the reality of the situation. I am leaning further and further away from many of my political views, not because of them being incorrect, but because of parties being so absolutely juvenile as a way for us to pick. We're trying to look for exceptionalism, and we keep on having to look at dodo birds. But the left has basically done this, the latter concept that I'm talking about, the playing to the lowest common denominator. I saw a comedian that was slightly funny, and then I stopped laughing as soon as I heard him say basically that we had to play the lowest, that in politics we basically had to play to the lowest common denominator. So if somebody's an idiot and they do something wrong, then all of us have to suffer. And I've lived through that. I've literally lived through that in the military, where some guy that basically wants to run his mouth to a drill instructor ends up getting us all sitting there making walls sweat, doing so many push-ups that we're basically making the whole room sweat. Just getting beat is what we called it. That's ridiculous. That is about the worst concept and idea. And I think that people forget that, ideas are just like diseases. There are, or I should say, it's like a cell. A cell can be contributed to in a beneficial way, and it can be contributed to in a very much so non-beneficial way. And I say that to say that, what do you get out of playing to the lowest common denominator? Like, can you imagine if, like, this was the way that we really dealt with, and there's that old concept, old bird concept. You've got the left wing and you've got the right wing, and together that bird flies. I'm glad that that's the situation. I'm glad that we do live in the middle, and that these two sadly ideological sides are pitted against each other. Even though there are, I think, better ways to, especially abolishing the party system. I think that this is an absolutely sophomoric and outdated and ridiculous way for us to pick the person that is supposed to represent the best of us. That's always your hope, right? When you get a president, is that he is probably exceptional. But playing to the lowest common denominator, I mean, that's like, no offense to anyone that's handicapped out there. I mean, if we're going to continue down that line, we might as well put somebody in there that literally just can't even, like, in the realm of being able to articulate ideas and such. Nothing against anybody that's handicapped. That we might as well just put somebody that's handicapped in offices of power and places of power. And I know many of you probably think that we do this, but I just feel like the ability to play down to the lowest common denominator and to versus the concept of exceptionalism, where you are pushing all people to try and make it to a goal. And you will always have people that make the choice to literally drop, fail, and do nothing. You have people that will try more than they ever did before, and then you will have people that are somewhere in the middle of that will, find out that they need to improve, or they just want to quit. Who knows? That's up to them. It's all relative. Just like you've got your own world, I've got my own world, and the only thing that we cannot deny is that we all have our own perspective. And whether or not your perspective is beneficial to yourself, whether or not that is non-beneficial to yourself, whether that's just right in the middle and you don't want to do anything, you cannot deny that we have perspective. You think, therefore you are. And if you would like to benefit yourself, the best way to do so isn't to play down to the worst person in your society. It is to try and elevate yourself to the best place you can be in society. Well, and that's all relative to you. I mean, to me, people spend way too much time in the culture that we live in spends way too much time worried about competition. I love football. I love people competing, but I'm more interested in people competing, and it's the person that they were yesterday. I'm more interested in people improving upon things that they feel can help them benefit and help them see a better outcome and help them feel like this life is what you make of it. To contribute to society in a way that they have fallen in love with, and for that we get the byproduct of what that is examples of people that have overcome, as opposed to, well, that guy did this horrible thing, so sorry, Joe, you've been doing the right thing the whole time. We're taking your guns. Peace.